Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and today's show is presented by Aura. You hear that song? Aura, 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 protect your Internet Explorer. Aura! Go to aura.com/chatsports, your digital safety net. Last year, 2020, 2 years ago, 2020, $49 million was stolen from people. That's like an insane amount of money. All I'm saying is this: make sure you protect yourself, make sure you protect your family members by going to aura.com/chatsports. So what we're talking about here is 9 defensive tackles that the Raiders could sign in free agency, not named Ndamukong Suh. Why? Because we've talked about Ndamukong Suh for a long, long time, and usually when people DM me, whether that be on Instagram, Twitter, they're always talking to me about DTs. The only name that gets brought up is Ndamukong Suh. What I'm going to try to do here is give you guys 9 other names, because I was going to talk about Larry O, but he signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers on Tuesday. So I'm going to give you 9 other names to at least keep in mind if you believe the Raiders need to go out and sign a defensive tackle. In terms of the players on our depth chart right now, yes, this Raiders organization has 10 defensive tackles, but Jonathan Hankins is banged up. Bilal Nichols is banged up. Neil Farrell Jr., Matthew Butler are rookies, and besides that, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of question marks. So how about this? If you believe that the Raiders should sign a defensive tackle because you see it being a team need, I see it being a team need, then like the video right now. The more likes a video gets, to me, the more viral it gets. And I don't know if the Raiders ever watch my videos, though they use my voice a lot in their videos, which means I believe they see what I'm doing over here. I want the Raiders to know that the nation believes that this team, this organization, needs to add a defensive tackle. So what I have here for you guys is 9 defensive tackles not named Suh. I ranked them for you from 9 all the way down to 1, which means the first guy we're going to talk about here is Shamar Stephen, who I'll say is this: he is average at best against the run and pass. In his career, 65 starts. Older guy, bit of a veteran here. 0 last season. According to PFF last year, a 49.5 overall grade, 50.3 against the run, 50.6 against the pass rush. He is simply a depth player and would only be a depth player on the Raiders. Last season, in terms of snaps, played nearly 400 snaps, 192 against the run, a little bit more against the pass. He did have 34 tackles. He had 2 pass breakups, but he's a big guy at 6'5", 309 pounds. Let's go to number 8 on my list here. It's Danny Shelton, who's definitely better of a pass rusher, and just to be point blank with y'all, he's bad against the run. He really truly is. 72 career starts, 0 last season, but he played on the New York Giants. Had some connections there with Patrick Graham. A 45.0 overall grade according to PFF. 43.4 against the run. 59.4 against the pass. In terms of overall snaps, 146 against the run. 110 against the pass. He was able to get 31 tackles last year. Half a sack. Kind of pulling the whole Lance Armstrong thing there. And then 1 tackle for loss at 6'2", 345 pounds. He's a big boy who can get after the QB. But he is kind of what he is at this current moment. Number 7 of my top free agent defensive tackles not named Ndamukong Suh, Brandon Williams. During his career, he's been a run stopper. I understand what the PFF numbers say down below, the 59.0. I'm telling y'all, sometimes PFF grades are a little bit wonky. He's more of a run stopper. 114 career starts. You're going to see a lot of veterans on this list because, let's face it, that's kind of what's laying around in the free agent pool right now, veterans. He did start 13 games last season. Buddy Ryan, or I think it's Buddy Ryan, whatever. One of the Ryans, Bob Ryan, I don't even remember. He's one of the Raiders coaches right now. He was with Baltimore last season. This is another veteran who can come in. He's a big body at about 340 pounds, 6'1", who had 35 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and a fumble recovery last season. There's some connections there. Big body up the middle. The Raiders need more depth at defensive tackle. Now, y'all, I love our new sponsor, Aura. And if you haven't already started our 14-day free trial, what the heck are you waiting for? I know you use the internet more now than ever, and it's even now more important to make sure that not only you, but your family members are safe and secure on the internet. This is going to help protect you from financial fraud protection, identity theft, online and device security, family plans to protect up to 5 people. The stories that I always tell is like, I love my mom to death. She's not the best with technology. She's always calling me like, hey, I got some spam call the other day, or hey, somebody's texting me about this. Did you send me a package from Amazon? It says click this link here. Mom, I didn't do it. Someone's just trying to get your info. With Aura, though, if you have a family member like that you're like, you know what? They would fall for the 14-day free cruise to the Bahamas. If you click this link here, then this is a good thing to get for you. Because I don't think I'm ever going to fall for it. But even if I don't fall for these scammers, they're so smart in today's world, they can get your info out there. So all I ask you to do is this. Try it out. Try it out. 14-day free trial at aura.com/chatsports. Just make sure that your loved ones are protected. I also know that you work hard for your money. And I would hate to see somebody steal not only your identity, but steal all the money out of your bank account. Aura is going to help make sure that that doesn't happen. Let's talk about number 6 here on our list of the top free agents not named Sue. Darius Philon. All right, now I got some Raider fans interested. He visited with Las Vegas this offseason, and he left that visit with not signing anything. He did tear his patella tendon in Week 18, which was absolutely devastating seeing him being carted off the field because he was a really great player for the Raiders last season, especially at being able to get after the quarterback. Anytime you see somebody, according to PFF grades, have over a 70, that's pretty damn good. He was at a 74.6 pass rush grade. He had the opportunity to get after the quarterback on 157 times, snaps, 119. The reason why he's number 6 on my list, though, is because of the injury concerns and because every single time he's ever been on a defense that hasn't been a Gus Bradley system, which I know I've mentioned 100 times, he hasn't been very good. On top of that, I heard that some people in the locker room weren't all that crazy about Philon. But hey, what do y'all think here? Should the Raiders sign Darius Philon? Type that Y for yes, or you can go ahead and type your N for no. Let's go to number 5 here on my list, which I'm not sure if he is a Buffalo hunter from the 1950s or he just played for the Buffalo Bills. It's Star Lotulelei, because either one, it looks like it could happen. He opted out of the 2020 season, had a very much of a down year in 2021, but he was a first-round pick a few years ago, 14th overall, though it looks like he was a first-round pick back in the 90s. He had a 43.5 overall grade, 65.3 pass rush grade. Some of you are like, well, if he's coming off a bad year, why do you want him? He's got experience, he's a veteran, and I'm hoping if he's on a better defensive line that has more pass rush presence, because Buffalo, good team, they didn't have any pass rushers last season. You put him with Chandler Jones, you put him with Max Crosby, you're going to be able to turn those 3 sacks and maybe into 5 sacks, maybe into 25 tackles, a little bit more production from a player who was once very, very good. This is where it gets interesting. My top 4. I'm going to go with Steve McLendon here, defensive tackle, played last season on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I believe that he can be solid in a limited role. 90 career starts, 0 last season. Also has some connections with, yes, Ndamukong Suh. But 67.6 overall grade according to PFF. Did play a lot of snaps against the run. I do think he's a better guy against the pass. But in certain situations, you need players that can come in and be the style of player that just gives you 30% of the snaps. But when he's in the game, you know you're going to get maximum effort and you know you're going to get maximum output. For me, if Jonathan Hankins, Bilal Nichols are healthy, then there can be a good rotation between McLendon, Vernon Butler, Neil Farrell Jr., Matthew Butler, which gives you a good defensive tackle room. And at 6'3", 310 pounds, he's got some of the length that a lot of defensive tackles do not have. Yes, the numbers last year aren't going to jump off the page, but sometimes defensive tackles, they don't have numbers that jump off the page. At number 3 here are my top free agent defensive tackles out there not named Sue, Eddie Goldman, and he opted out of the 2020 season, which after the 2020 year, the reason why I think you get him at a bit of a discount is because you haven't seen good Eddie Goldman in 2 years, and in 2 years in NFL time is a lifetime. 73 career starts, 10 last season. Look at the PFF grade. It was bad. I mean, he had a bad year last season, also battled some injuries, so please keep that in mind. But when you go back and you look at Goldman's seasons, in 2019 he was good. 2018, 2017, this dude was a stud. One of the best DTs, I thought. Up-and-coming DTs in the NFL is probably the better way to say it. 6'3", 325 pounds, 22 tackles last season. If he's healthy, if he's in football shape, and if he's motivated, which this would be the perfect guy to give a one-year contract because you saw just a few years ago he can do it, and he's not up there in age at 30, I would love for Champ Kelly, who has connections with Goldman, also has connections with Bilal Nichols. This would be one that I would love for the Raiders to make happen. Now, before I give you my top 2 names, please hit me up on Instagram, Twitter. Give me a follow at Mitchell Renz 365. The offseason is the time of the year to make sure you never miss anything. And if you want to know what's going on in my life, I think it's the easiest way to do it, and I appreciate it as well. Hit me up, IG, Twitter, at Mitchell Renz 365. Number 2 on my list, Linval Joseph. This guy has had at least 44 tackles in every season since 2011. That's what's known as production. 162 career starts, 12 last year. According to the PFF, a 63.1 overall grade. The pass rush grade is an outlier. 83 pass rush grade is a little bit high, though I actually watched some tape on him, and I thought they were a little bit too low on his running ability in terms of stopping the run. Also, the Chargers defense, new defensive coordinator, had a lot of changing parts. What I know is this. If you can get a DT that puts up these type of numbers, this type of production, and he's playing over 500 snaps at his age, that's pretty damn good to me. 57 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss. He's a big body. He knows the AFC West, and I would love for the Raiders to pick up the phone and give Linval Joseph a call, give Ndamukong Suh a call, or the number 1 guy on my list, it's Sheldon Richardson. Richardson is a good, heck, he might even be above good. Not quite great. I don't know what's between good and great. Above good, above average, run stopper. When you look at his pass rushing ability, he's average, right? And that's okay. 125 career starts, only 7 last season. Did deal with some minor injuries here and there. But this is one of these moves where if you're going to go out and get this guy, he's not overly big. But for somebody who's over 30 years old, who can still be reliable, above reliable in the run game, can be good, slightly average in the pass rush game, play over 600 snaps, that's the type of production, that's the type of player that I'm looking for. And when you look at a lot of the other teams out there, he's played with the Browns, the Vikings, those 2 teams right now, I believe are the 2 teams most likely to go out and sign Ndamukong Suh. So if you're telling me we can go out and get somebody like a Richardson, and Eddie Goldman, and Ndamukong Suh, a Linval Joseph, that would help this defensive unit a lot, and the numbers speak for themselves. Sheldon Richardson is the number 1 free agent defensive tackle the Raiders should sign, not named Ndamukong Suh. So what do y'all think here? I want you to name somebody after watching this video. Hopefully you're able to educate yourself because, I'd go on Twitter, I'd go all over social media, Facebook, doesn't matter where. And when defensive tackle was mentioned, the only name that I realistically saw was Ndamukong. And Suh's a hell of a player, but I don't even know if I would have put Suh on this list. Like, Sheldon Richardson might be better than Ndamukong at this point. Even somebody like Linval Joseph might be better. I do think Suh is a really good fit in Patrick Graham's system and a really good fit for this Raiders locker room. But for the sake of the video, I hope you guys learned something. I also hope that you realize that there are other options out there that the Raiders could sign to bolster this defensive tackle room.